Smithing, heck yeah. Alright, here we go. The Armorer's Challenge by Mimothesis. 300 years ago, when Kataraya became Empress, the first and only Dunmer to rule all of Tamriel, she faced opposition from the Imperial Council. Even after she convinced them that she would be the best regent to rule the empire while her husband Pelagius sought treatment for his madness, there was still conflict. In particular from the Duke of Vinghetto, Thane Minglumire, who took a particular delight in exposing all of the Empress's lack of practical knowledge. In this particular instance, Kataraya and the council were discussing the unrest in Blackmarsh and the massacre of Imperial troops outside the village of Armanius. Maybe, I don't know. The sodden swampland and the sweltering climate, particularly in summertide, would endanger the troops if they wore their usual armor. I know a very clever armorer, said Kataraya. His name is Hazadir, an Argonian who knows the environments our army will be facing. I knew him in Vivek, where he was a slave to the master armorer there before he moved to the Imperial City as a freed man. We should have him design armor and weaponry for the campaign. Minglumire gave a short, barking laugh. She wants a slave to design the armor and weaponry of our troops? Cyrolysacus is the finest armorer in the Imperial City. Everyone knows that. After much debate, it was finally decided to have both armorers contend for the commission. The council also elected 2 champions of equal power and prowess, Nandor Berade and Raphaelus Ul, to battle using the arms and armaments of the real competitors in the struggle. Which champion won, the armorer who supplied him would earn the Imperial Commission. It was decided that Berade would be outfitted by Hazadir and Ul by Sakas. The fight was scheduled to commence in 7 days. Cyrolysacus began work immediately. He would have preferred more time, but he recognized the nature of the test. The situation in Armanius was urgent. The Empire had to select their armorer quickly, and once selected, the preferred armorer had to act swiftly and produce the finest armor and weaponry in the Imperial army in Blackmarsh. It wasn't just the best armorer they were looking for, it was the most efficient. Sakas had only begun steaming the half-inch strips of black virgin oak to bend into bands for the flanges of the armor joints when there was a knock at his door. His assistant, Fandius, ushered in the visitor. It was a tall reptilian of common markings, a dull, green-fringed hood, bright black eyes, and a dull brown cloak. It was Hazadir, Kataraya's preferred armorer. I wanted to wish you the best of luck on the... Is that ebony? It was indeed. Sakas had bought the finest quality ebony weave available in the Imperial City as soon as he heard of the competition and had begun the process of smelting it. Normally it was a 6-month procedure refining the ore, but he had hoped a massive convection oven stoked by white flames born of magicka would shorten the operation to 3 days. Sakas proudly pointed out the other advancements in his armory, the acidic lime pools to sharpen the blade of the die cantata to an unimaginable degree of sharpness, the akaviri forge and tongs, the wood he would use to fold the ebony back and forth upon itself. Hazadir laughed. Have you been to my armory? It's 2 tiny smoke-filled rooms. The front is a shop. The back is filled with broken armor, some hammers, and a forge. That's it. That's your competition for the millions of gold pieces and Imperial commission. I'm sure the Empress has some reason to trust you to outfit her troops, said Cerelia Sacchus kindly. He had, after all, seen the shop and knew that Hazadir said was true. It was a pathetic workshop in the slums, fit only for the lowliest of adventurers to get their iron daggers and cuirasses repaired. Sacchus had decided to make the best quality regardless of the inferiority of his rival. It was his best, and how he became the best armorer in the Imperial City. Out of kindness, and more than a bit of pride, Sacchus showed Hazadir how, by contrast, things should be done in a real professional armory. The Argonian acted as the apprentice to Sacchus, helping him refine the ebony ore and to pound it and fold it when it cooled. Over the next several days, they worked together to create beautiful katana, with an edge honed sharp enough to trim a mosquito's eyebrows. Enchanted. Do mosquitoes have eyebrows? I don't think mosquitoes have eyebrows. Okay. Enchanted with flames along its length by one of the Imperial battle mages, as well as a suit of armor and bound wood, leather, silver, and ebony to resist the winds of oblivion. On the day of the battle, Sacchus, Hazadir, and Fandius finished polishing the armor and brought it in Raphaelis Ul for the fitting. Hazadir left only then, realizing that Nandor Bereid would be at his shop shortly to be outfitted. The two warriors met before the Empress and Imperial Council in the arena, which had been flooded slightly to stimulate the swampy conditions of Black Marsh. From the moment Sacchus saw Ul in his suit of heavy ebony and blazing dye katana, and Bereid in his collection of dusty, rusted lizard scales and spear from Hazadir's shop, he knew who would win, and he was right. The first blow from the dye katana lodged in Bereid's soft shield, as there was no metal trim to reflect it. Before Ul could pull his sword back, Bereid let go of the now flaming shield, still stuck on the sword, and poked it at the joints of Ul's ebony armor with his spear. Ul finally retrieved his sword from the ruined shield and slashed at Bereid, but his light armor was scaled and angled, and the attacks rolled off into the water, extinguishing the dye katana's flames. When Bereid struck at Ul's feet, he fell into the churned mud and was unable to move. The Empress, out of mercy, called him victor. Hazadir received the commission, and thanks to his knowledge of the Argonian battle tactics and weaponry, and how best to defeat them, he designed implements of war that brought down the insurrection in Armanius. Kataraya won the respect of the council, and even, grudgingly, that of Thane Minglumire. Cerelia Sacchus went to Morrowind to learn what Hazadir learned there, and was never heard from again.